My name is Darryl Anderson. I'm Managing Director of Mercy Ships Canada. Mercy Ships Canada is part of an international charity called Mercy Ships that provides free medical care to primarily poor and developing countries in West Africa. What's unique about the organization is we use a hospital ship as a platform for providing that free medical care. And so as the leader of the Canadian office, I work with a team to help mobilize Canadians to volunteer for service. There's about 100 plus volunteers a year, and we raise funds to help people do that and contribute to the work. A lot of the medical care will be specifically designed with the country in mind, so it can extend from medical care to dental care. We sign agreements with the host government. We're invited in, so that could be corrective surgery. There's a lot of facial, other types of work. There's some female health type of related services. So what we do is work with our international partner, manages that relationship with the host government, and then we sign agreement, and then medical care is delivered in accordance with that host government agreement. So there's a little bit of specialization between country to country. But yeah, that's kind of the basics of what we do. The website at mercyships.ca provides an opportunity for people to learn more about us. And I think why we're at Cargo Logistics Canada, obviously at a medical charity, an international charity, people think of doctors and dentists, but we actually also need IT people, technical people, and other professional people, because a ship is like a small city. There's everything from the captain and the crew to the medical staff to hospitality. IT keeps the world running, and so recruiting volunteers from across the country, especially French-speaking as well. Many of the countries we go to in West Africa are French-speaking, and going to our website is the best opportunity, or contacting staff such as Emily, who's been manning our booth here, is another way. Natasha's our crew coordinator, so just phoning us or getting in contact on the internet is probably the best way. I'll give an example of Greg, who's currently or just returning from Senegal as really a deckhand. It's an amazing experience. We refer to many of our Canadian volunteers as alumni, or in the colloquial of Mercy Ships Canada, it's really repeat offenders. We have doctors, nurses, hospitality staff, and others that will serve more than once. Some are longer-term crew members, some short, like Greg, we're as short as 3 weeks, so it's not always a lifetime commitment, but many of the volunteers that start off doing it once come back again, maybe maybe there's a space of time between them, and some volunteers, we find out, even extend their short-term service into a longer service. So it's a tremendous opportunity to use the skills they're already using, say at home, to help really development and medical capacity building work in a way where it's not just doctors and dentists. So one of the greatest impacts is when Mercy Ships started the work, a lot of the world's poor were essentially close to where the ship would physically tie up at dock. And one of the things 40 years later is these countries are also developing. They're not all stagnant and poor, but some of the world's poorest people now actually live in country. So we actually also have logistics people and others that actually begin to do screening and bring people to the vessel. And so what happens is it's not just about building and doing that medical treatment on board a ship, but it's working with the countries to build that increased medical capacity and training. We have actually development and part of the international work. Our international operating base is in the U.S., but we have directors of medical care that are actually also in medical capacity building. So we're changing lives one by one and creating to a systematic development, and that's the part that's unique about the work that we do. I think our website and our video, it touches you in a profoundly human way. It also touches you in a profoundly practical way. And I think what's interesting about Cargo Logistics Canada, there's a lot of really bright people in the room that have lots of knowledge. And yesterday I met a gentleman who was also involved in sending relief of peas and beans and lentils to developing countries after disaster that need it for food relief. And when you realize that regardless of your profession or what you do for a living, there's practical things that you can do, and as a person with logistics knowledge, I'm really a logist at heart, that you find out that you can make a real world difference, but you can also contribute to systemic change, and that's really exciting.
I heard you're getting a new boat. What's that going to do for Mercy ships?
What it is going to be the Global Mercy, and it physically is going to add another second ship to the fleet. It'll be designed more for medical training. It's the world's first purpose-built civilian hospital ship, and it will physically be 60% bigger than the Africa Mercy. But more importantly, it's going to allow our work to do essentially in 2 countries simultaneously, but between the planning work and the post-country evaluation, it's equivalent of working in 10 countries simultaneously, and it's the equivalent of quadrupling the size of the organization over the next 20 to 24 months. So it's really exciting an opportunity, and now you can see why we're at Cargo Logistics Canada to help make sure we tap into the talent pools that are across the country.